back at the campsite. Today, we are building a fire. I'm gonna show you my method on setting up a fire lay and making sure you get success every time you build a fire, whether you're out camping or you're in a survival situation. Stay tuned. All right, guys, the first thing I want to talk about is preparation. Prep your fire. Have your tinder bundle and your bird's nest ready to go. Have all of your sticks broken and right by the fire so you're not getting something lit and then you're having to scramble to try to get the fire going. Now, you don't have to have all your firewood ready, but have everything you need to get your first initial really good bed of coals going and your first fire really burning, so you don't have to worry about it and have to sit there and babysit it every 5 minutes. You can start working on some other tasks. So I'm gonna take you over. I'm gonna show you how I set up my fire lay, and we're gonna get a fire going, guys. As you can see, I have 4 piles here. So I'm gonna get down here and I'm gonna show you what each pile is and what the order is you need to put these on your fire. All right, guys, so the first thing right here, this is gonna be your bird's nest and your tinder bundle. Now, I have some dead goldenrod on the inside, and I also have some cedar bark that catches really well with just a spark from a ferro rod. But because everything is wet, I'm also gonna be using our fire starter I showed you in the last video. If you haven't watched that, go back and check that out, which has a fat wood handle, and then you also have your ferro rod. So I wanna guarantee success with my fire. Now, good thing with using the bird's nest like I'm doing is I have the ability to move it into the fire and mess with it before I go to my next step. Now, my next step is what I call starter wood. Now, I don't set my fires up like a teepee or a log cabin or whatever else people say. Fire likes chaos. So that's the reason why I call this my starter wood. This is pencil lead size or smaller. And yes, there's some bigger pieces in here, but I didn't feel like breaking them off. I also have some more goldenrod stems in there, stuff that's gonna catch very fast. Good thing with this starter wood like this is because even if it's a tiny bit damp, as long as it's not fully saturated, it will dry really fast and catch up really fast. So this will go on top of the bird's nest whenever it's on fire. The next thing I have, guys, is my kindling and my small fuel. So I have my kindling here, which is anything that is pencil size to about Expo marker size. And you know what I'm talking about on the Expo marker, those dry erase markers that you used in school. And after that, I have my bigger fuel, which is anything about the size of my wrist. Depending on the size of your wrist, it might be your forearm or bigger. I want to use this first because I don't want to overcrowd the fire and put it out, even if it looks like it's burning well. And I'm going to do this in steps. All right, guys, so the first thing I'm gonna do is put my bird's nest over here with my tinder bundle facing me, and hopefully it don't blow away because it's really windy today. I'm gonna grab my fat wood stick. Here's the handle. It comes with an extra stick. These are really cool. We sell these in the shop. And then I'm gonna start scraping off some really fine shavings. You can also do the dust. By the way, I'm using my Gerber Strong Arm, phenomenal bushcraft survival knife, camp knife. It's a good multi-purpose camp knife. We'll get a decent amount of shavings in here because I want success. Now, I'm 100% sure this goldenrod is going to catch up quick, but I am going to move it in my fire. Move you guys right over here so y'all can see. Get down here, get in there. Now look, it lit. Did it catch up and stay? There we go. Now we're on fire, guys. I'm gonna flip it over. Now I'm grabbing this and I want chaos. I'm gonna scatter this on top, but I want maximum airflow, okay, guys? Now if the ground's wet, put something down to help it to keep all your stuff up off the ground. I used some cedar bark I had. Now, as the flames grow, I'm gonna start putting more stuff on top. Don't be afraid to get in there and mess with it, guys. Now, as the flames grow and start coming up, I'm gonna start putting these on top, which is my kindling. Now I'm just gonna set back and let that burn for a minute and let everything catch up good. And then I'm gonna start putting my bigger fuel on there. If I start dropping heavy stuff on this now, I'm gonna crush my fire out and it's gonna instantly go out and I gotta start all over again. So now I'm just gonna let this thing do its business. All right, guys, so the only thing left to do now is just continue to feed the fire and let that good bed of coals establish. Now, once I start getting the fire where a lot of the bigger kindling is burnt down, I'm gonna start adding this wood. Now, once I start adding it, I'm gonna get more and more coal bed established, and then it'll turn into a really good cooking style fire once it's burnt down some. Now, when I'm done cooking and I wanna stoke it back up to stay warm for the night, I will add more of my kindling if it's down too much. And then once it starts firing up again, I will start putting on my fuel again. Now, with that, once it starts becoming nighttime, I need to have some bigger, punkier logs lying around so I will have the fire maintained the rest of the night. If I'm in a survival situation, that is very important because I don't want to be restarting my fire every time and every day. That is one thing that drives me nuts in survival shows, is they have to make a fire almost every day. Not every one of them do it, but a lot of people do it on the show. So what I'm gonna do is put some bigger, punkier logs on there that I find around the woods or wherever I find them, and use that to smolder and burn all night long, so when I get up the next day, I still have a fire. A benefit of that too is if it's very moist in your area, if you have a lot of dew or if it's gonna chance for rain, it will protect your fire because it's keeping it covered. And even though you might not have a huge bed of coals the next day, you should still have stuff underneath that log to keep your fire going and get your fire going back very easily. Now, all I'm gonna do right here, guys, is feed this fire. I've got a good poking stick and I'm gonna let it do its thing, and then I'm gonna get ready for our next video where we're gonna be doing some camp cooking. We're gonna be making breakfast in a Dutch oven, so I'm really excited about that, guys. I will see you on the next one. Get outside, have an adventure, and God bless.